Morning peeps, I'm back. Back with another exciting episode of the summer series. Episode 3 in fact. And I don't know about you lot, but since FPL finished, I've been extremely busy. You know, if you can call sitting on the couch playing Fallout all day being busy. You know, I am missing FPL already. And the good news is the fixture list for next season is out a week today, so we haven't got long to wait before we can start talking about FPL again. But in the meantime, we're going to have to talk about something else, aren't we? And because it really does feel like the community now is on its summer break. You know, for the first week after the season finished, we saw people coming on with their season reviews, talking about various aspects of what they'd like to see for next season and all that type of thing. But really now I think it's pretty much died down, hasn't it? Pretty much died down. And everybody's just hopefully enjoying their summer break, or winter in this case, where we've had an absolute terrible run of weather. Anyway, peeps, we shall go and have a look at the free cup. Well, we won't go there. We'll go here. So I've made a team. You don't care less about my team, I don't care less about yours. You know what I mean? Because this Club World Cup is just a bit of fun in my eyes. I really just want to watch Chelsea, watch the stars in action and all that. But I've made a team and I've put Delap and Madueke in there. Now Delap's obviously probably not going to play, but he's in there anyway. And at least you can make substitutions. So if he only gets 1 point or whatever, I can just sub him out. He's under 5% owned, so he'll get an extra 2 points if he does get anything. Madueke, with Sancho going back to Man United, Gittins didn't sign. Chelsea are very short on wingers at the moment. There's only really Neto and Madueke are pretty much the only ones they've got. I mean, they've got other people that can play in the position. Like Jackson could actually play on the left wing, which would be good news for Delap. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But some of these fixtures are going to be so one-sided that it's making it all very, very awkward. You know, you can pick people like Harry Kane, or your top Real Madrid players, all these type of players. But are they going to play? You know, they will once the knockout starts, but in the actual league phase, there's not going to, anyone could be playing. It's a complete lottery, this tournament. I mean, they've still got players on the list that aren't even going. So, I will go through these players later in the week just to check that they're all likely to be starters. But I've gone heavy on the German sides, Dortmund and Bayern Munich. I've got a couple in from Flamenco, I think, at least one. And basically, it's just a lottery. I'll show you the World Cup. We'll go to 11ify, which is an analytics site that has 3 World Cup predictions. Very generous of them, peeps, isn't it? Very generous. So this is a bit like Rob T and his win percentages, but how accurate they are is anybody's guess. You know, we don't know what the team sheets are going to be. We don't know anything, basically, do we? But you look at round 1. Bayern Munich, 98% chance to beat Auckland City. Auckland City, like I've said many times, are nothing but a park team. You know, they play down the road from me sometimes against the local old boys' school, so they're absolute rubbish. And Bayern Munich are going to batter them. But the question is, of course, are Bayern Munich going to put out their first team for this fixture? We've got no idea. They're going to treat it like a friendly. I mean, the thing with this Club World Cup is, the clubs themselves like it, because there's huge money at stake, huge opportunity to get new fans from around the world and all that. But the players would rather be on the beach enjoying their millions, wouldn't they? On their super yachts or whatever they do during the summer months. All the other players from other clubs, all their mates are all on the beach. And they're being kept in detention to go and play in this tournament in the USA that they probably don't even want to be in. So who knows? It may well be that the fringe players, the ones with more to prove, playing for spots and all that type of thing, are going to be far more effective than the stars that have been playing all season, are tired, don't want to be there, and are just going to be going through the motions. So I put a mixture in. I put a mixture in of established stars. Obviously, I'm going to captain Kane, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see B teams and it being treated like nothing more than a friendly. They're going to go 3-0 up, and then there's going to be mass substitutions, aren't there? So PSG are only 41% to win their match. I'm thinking about taking out all my PSG players. I've got Hakimi at the moment. Chelsea 85% to beat Los Angeles. So war zone there, peeps at the moment by all accounts. So although it's not, of course, is it? But the media like to make out it is. But I'm sure they'll be quite safe, peeps. As long as they're not playing in Compton. If we don't want to be going there. Take the wrong turn out the airport, in Jackson, we might never see him again. So I've got a Flamengo player in, 79% expected to beat Tunis. And you go down, Man City 92%. Now Man City, again, who's going to start? They brought in Reindeers and somebody else whose name I've already forgotten. Now, are these players going to play? We've got so many options for City. It's going to be even worse than normal, isn't it? I thought about putting Guardiola in. Is he going to even play in this game? We just don't know, do we? And Real Madrid 78% and Juve 84%. So the goal predictions, it's just what you'd expect, basically. Bayern Munich, Man City, Real Madrid, Chelsea, PSG, Inter, Borussia, Benfica. That's for the first 3. If you go by game week 1, usual suspects basically, all the European sides at the top, everybody else down below. By the way, peeps, if you want better info on who to pick, go and look at D-Unit's video, because he's done a proper one. Not like me, who's just treating it like a bit of fun. Clean sheet predictions, again, all the European sides. I'm actually thinking of putting a few more South American players in because they are lucky. I think they're in their 10th week of their local season at the moment, and the players are going to be in far better shape than the all these stars for these other teams. Like I said, they've got nothing to prove. They just want to be on holiday. Got all sorts of stats on this site. Look. Next game week predictions, what have we got? Goals and assists. So Harry Kane, well above everybody else. Kane, Haaland, Mbappe, Elise, Sané, Musiala. Palmer's up there. Now Palmer's, he needs a rest. Palmer really does need a rest. Jackson's up there. I've actually gone for, like I said, Delap. We shall see what happens, but none of it really matters because it's all just a bit of fun, peeps, you know what I mean? Especially the first game week, we might get a bit of a better idea. So we've got the goal predictions. My striker from Dortmund's up there quite high. Kane. And, of course, Delap is absolutely nowhere, but I'm going more for a kind of 3-5-2 anyway. But the good thing is with this system, you can sub in and out, so you can take a few risks, I think. Savio's top for assists this week, but is he even going to play? I mean, he often doesn't. Trent's quite high up there. I put Trent in just because I want to watch him, basically. I mean, that's the philosophy I've gone for in this whole tournament, really. I just want to pick players that I like watching because, is it worth taking seriously, peeps? Anyway, is it even worth putting this video out? Because to be honest, there's not a lot to talk about. Let's go and talk about something else. Transfers. Let's go and have a look at the transfers. Frank's been appointed. He's gone, peeps. Frank has gone to Tottenham. And whether he takes Buemo with him, we don't know yet, do we? But they did not get that transfer through in the first window. There's another one opens next week, I think. But it's going to be interesting to see where Buemo goes now, whether he goes to Tottenham or he goes to Man United. If he goes to Tottenham, he's got all his old coaches are going as well. Nice attacking team. Everyone that goes to Man United ends up getting stuffed. So if I was him, I'd probably go to Tottenham. But we shall see where he actually does go. Trent's been learning Spanish, look. Probably for 5 minutes. A lot of talk about Man United. People going to Man United normally turn out to be false rumours, don't they? But not too much happening, apart from Wirtz, of course, going to Liverpool. That's going to be a big one. They've already got Frimpong, or whatever his name is. City look to have done some great business, don't they, with Reindeers and the other fella, the one whose name I've already forgotten. And it's shaping up to be a really interesting season coming up, isn't it? But we've got to wait for next week when we get the fixtures. De Bruyne's going to Napoli. You know, that's a great move for him, isn't it? Because we've seen what it did for McTominay going to Napoli. Ended up getting a winner's medal, scored in the last match. So De Bruyne, you know, his legs might be going a bit, but I think in that league he's going to shine, isn't he? They've got a bit of a bargain there, I think. Reindeers has joined. Or Reinders. But is it Reinders or Reindeers? Reinders probably, isn't it? Wirtz, goodness knows what price he's going to be. But Liverpool don't play with a number 10. And his best position is as a number 10. So it's going to be interesting what Liverpool do. I mean, do a side that's just walked away with the league change their formation? You know, it's a bit risky, isn't it? Or do they stick with the one that served them so well for so long? We'll have to wait and see. That's the one. Turkey. I'm sure I pronounced that wrong. Has joined City. Attacking midfielder. Yet another one. So rotation's going to be through the roof next season, isn't it? Although some of them will be leaving. But it looks like City have not wasted much time in getting some decent players. And they seem to better get them for a reasonable price as well, don't they? They seem to pay less than everybody else when they bring someone in. I don't know why. So like we said, Frank's gone. Don't know what this means for Brentford. I mean, they've lost Buemo. I don't know if this is going to stay. They've lost all their coaching staff. You know, we see this, don't we? Wolves have lost Cunha. So the best chance that Leeds and co have of staying up, I think, is to hope that one of these clubs above them have shot themselves in the foot by taking out all our best assets. You know, it happens. That's how teams normally get relegated, isn't it? Like Southampton a few years ago. Become a selling club and sooner or later it tends to catch up. Right, they've got a new subreddit for the World Cup Fantasy. And huge interest. Nobody there. So as you can see, not a great deal of interest. I think once it starts though, people are going to take an interest and they're going to think, why didn't I start a team? And I've actually got a league here, peeps. So my leagues, where are we? I was going to delete that second one. I don't know if people have gone in it. That's a public one. Oh, there's lots of people in it. Oh, Jesus, look, they've all been joining. So I've got a public league here. Narcissistic Sociopaths YouTube channel. You know, I held my finger up, peeps. I think he's talking about me. You know, is that me, a narcissistic sociopath? You know, it's not for me to say, is it really? It's for you lot to decide. But the cheeky little sods put in a team name that anyway. But I have actually got a private league, where you keep out the riffraff, And he's still in that one. Right, so we've got Colm Burglar in this one. We all know him. He's associated with Elite FPL, I think, and tends to support all the alternative type of FPL channels. Who else? We've got FPL Hippies on. So we've got about 10. I'll give you the code for that, and I'll also put it at the top of the WhatsApp. Here's the code here. F5BY941X. I guess that's a 1. I hate it when they put ones and I's into codes. Do you know what I mean? It's always annoying peeps. Anyway, I'll copy the link or copy the code. Okay, I'll copy the code and I'll put it in afterwards. So I think we've got another 2 days to go before this thing starts, haven't we? I don't know if I've got a countdown clock. 15th of June, 11 a.m. New Zealand time. I think that's New Zealand time, which is 2 days away. 2 days. We'll have to start just when I'm going to work. It's very annoying, peeps. So, who have I got here? Kane, the Dortmund striker, and Delap. I'm very weak up front. Again, I'm thinking a lot of the stars aren't going to play. And why, they rushed to get Delap through. Why not play him? I think Madueke could be really good. He's under 5% owned as well. And like I said, Chelsea, they couldn't get Gittins. They didn't want Sancho. They're very short of wingers at the moment. They obviously won't be by the time the season begins, but for this tournament they are. Elise has been superb since he left Palace. And actually Palace have been superb since Elise left as well, haven't they? So they haven't missed him too much, but he's been very good for Bayern Munich. I've actually got 3 Bayern Munich attackers in here. And Dumfries, Mora, Hakimi, Ryerson, got a good strong defence. Now the thing is, peeps, what you do here, all the players that are starting later on in the game week, you put on your bench. That's why Trent's on the bench. Because as these people fail, I will be manually swapping them for these players on the bench. So if you're wondering why there's strong players on the bench, that's the reason why. For example, if this goalkeeper fails, I will replace him with Summer later in the game week. You can also change your captain as well, I think, a couple of times. So if Kane blanks, I will take the captaincy off him. If he only gets 1 point or 2, he'll be out altogether, and the captaincy will remove to somebody who is playing the next day. So I quite like that format, because you've got like a sticker twist, haven't you? Like supposing he gets 8 points, you can either stick with the 8 points for your captain, or you can take a gamble and go for a huge return. So I quite like that side of it with the rules they have. Anyway, peeps, that's about it. We'll go back and have a quick look at what's happening on Reddit, shall we? Very quick look. So De Bruyne, Reinders coming in, Wirtz to Liverpool, Jerky, Frank. What tool would you need the most for the new season? I think what they should do is put more stats on the official site. I know a lot of people wouldn't like that, would they, if it was all on the official site, but at least it would stop you having to go to sites that try and charge you money, smother the site in adverts. Not only do they charge you money, but they have a automatic renewal and try and trick you into not unsubscribing and all sorts of shady things that will quite well do without, and have more stuff on the actual website itself. What else have we got? People already estimating price reveals, but it's all gone pretty dead, peeps, pretty dead. We're all enjoying our break now. or hanging out for next week's fixtures, one of the two. I'm in the camp where I'm hanging out for the fixtures, but at the same time I am quite enjoying for not having the stress of a red arrow, because we're going to get all that back, aren't we, soon? And we don't want that, peeps. Anyway, that's about it. Make your team for this Club World Cup. Stick in whoever you want to. I've obviously been zero help in helping you to pick a team, but you're not here to just copy me anyway. If you want to copy someone, I recommend you go to D-Link. I don't know if he's FPL D-Link or just D-Link. He's great new content creator, Australian. Put a good team together. I think he's got 3 cheap Porto players on his bench. And you'll get more information from him than you do from me, because basically I don't have a clue what I'm doing. You know what I mean? As do none of you lot, probably, which is why you're not playing it. But you may as well enter and play in the raffle, because if you get a good start, you can then work out what's happening, because there are going to be a lot of unexpected high scorers, I think, in this tournament. And, those poor superstars, having to play football in the summer, they must hate it. Seriously. You're earning millions and you don't get a chance to enjoy it. And I'm really worried about this tournament for the teams that are in it, to be honest. Well, Chelsea, basically. Because it's going to affect next season. There's a possibility of injuries in the summer, overload, or mental tiredness that is going to carry on until the season starts, I think. And, the last thing we want is Palmer starting next season is tired and jaded as he was when he ended the last one. So if it was me, I would have told Palmer to get down the beach. Because quite honestly, they're probably not going to win this thing anyway. And the best chance of winning it would probably be to leave Palmer at home, because the way he's playing, garbage, peeps. Anyway, I'll talk to you all later. And the next one, number 4 in the series, thankfully, will be about FPL when we talk about the fixtures. I'm looking forward to that one. So a like and subscribe, peeps, and smash that like button, and I'll see you next week. Okay, cheers for now then, peeps.